Alright guys, good afternoon. So today what we're going to do is we're actually going to start chapter 7. And with this lecture, it's just going to mainly focus on 7.1. And then there'll be other lectures for the rest of chapter 7. Alright, so if you notice in your book, section 7.1 dealt with problem solving, dealing with the US system, a measurement. Okay, so what we've done here is we have our US measurement unit relationships. This chart is in your book, so if you want to flip to your book, beginning of chapter 7, you'll see this chart. I just went ahead and wrote it up there for you, but these are relationships of different US units of measure that you'll need to know. Okay, so here first we have our US length units, where 12 inches is equal to 1 foot, 3 feet equals 1 yard, 5,280 feet is equal to 1 mile. Next we have our US capacity units, 8 fluid ounces equals 1 cup, 2 cups is equal to 1 pint, 2 pints equals 1 quart, and then lastly over here, 4 quarts is equal to 1 gallon. All right, over here is our US weight units, 16 ounces equals 1 pound, and then 2,000 pounds is equal to 1 ton. And then the last category is time, and if you notice in parentheses, I put US and metric because time deals with both. It goes with both units of measure. So 60 seconds equals 1 minute, 60 minutes is equal to 1 hour, 24 hours equals 1 day, and then lastly 7 days equals 1 week, okay? So what we're going to be doing with these is we're going to be using these unit relationships to go back and forth between different units of measure. So for instance, if I ask you how many feet does 60 inches make up, you should be able to tell me, okay? Or if I ask you how many seconds does 2 days make up, you should be able to tell me. Or if I ask you how many quarts are in 3 gallons, you should be able to tell me. All right, so that's how we're going to use these in order to solve our problems. All right, so let's just go ahead and start looking at some examples. All right, so first we want to convert 7 feet to inches. All right, we want to convert 7 feet to inches. All right, the way we're going to solve these is very similar to how we solved ratio and rate problems in chapter 5. We're going to first start with what's given to me. So I'm going to start with my 7 feet. Now, if you want to write it over 1, you can. I recommend it just to keep your fractions in order because we're going to be multiplying fractions here. It's totally up to you, though. All right, so now what we're looking for after we write down our 7 feet is I want to write down some type of unit relationship that deals with feet and inches. All right, so if we come back over here to our chart, well, we notice that we have 12 inches is equal to 1 foot. All right, so we're going to use that. So I know that 12 inches is equal to 1 foot. All right, and again, if we remember back to chapter 5, anytime we had 1 unit up top and the same unit on the bottom, those units canceled out. All right, remember, if you have anything on top of a fraction and the same thing on the bottom, they cancel each other out. And now we just have to multiply our fractions. 7 times 12 is 84. 1 times 1 is 1. And now our units are inches, which is what we were wanting. And any number over 1 is just that number itself, and so we get 84 inches. So 7 feet is equal to 84 inches. All right, good. So now I want you guys to try one. So I want you to convert 20 quarts to gallons. And if you notice here, I'm using some abbreviations on some of these. If you look in your book, where you see this chart right beside them, in parentheses, you'll see the abbreviations. So just make sure as you're learning the chart, you're also getting familiar with those abbreviations, just in case you see them here. All right, so pause the lecture now, work this problem, give yourself a couple of minutes, and then resume the lecture, and I'll work it out together to see if you got the right answer. All right, guys, so hopefully you were able to get the right answer, but just in case you weren't, let's go ahead and look at this one together. So again, we're going to start with what's given to us. So 20 quarts. I'm going to place that over 1. Now I'm going to multiply that by some relationship over here where I have quarts to gallons. If I look on the bottom over here, it tells me that 4 quarts is equal to 1 gallon. So since we have quarts on top over here, I'm going to need quarts on the bottom down here. So 4 quarts on the bottom, and that's equal to 1 gallon. All right, well now our quarts will cancel. So we're left with 20 times 1, which is 20 gallons, over 1 times 4, which is just 4. And now we just have to reduce our fraction. 20 over 4 gives me 5 gallons. So 20 quarts is equal to 5 gallons. All right, good. So let's look at some more. All right, let's convert 45 minutes to hours. So I want to determine how many hours is 45 minutes equal to. Well, again, we're just going to take the same approach. We're going to start with what's given. So we're going to start with our 45 minutes over 1. Now we're going to multiply that by our relationship. 60 minutes is equal to 1 hour. So 1 hour is 60 minutes. All right, our units will cancel. So minutes and minutes are gone. And now we just multiply across. 45 times 1 is 45. 1 times 60 is just 60. Our units are now hours, so we keep that. So we get 45 over 60 hours, but we want to simplify that. Each one of these is divisible by 15. Divide each one by 15, and we get 3/4 hours. So 45 minutes is equal to 3/4 hours. All right, now it's your turn. So I want you to convert convert 60 inches to feet. All right, again, pause the lecture, give yourself a couple minutes to try this problem, then come back and let's work it out together. All right, so hopefully you was able to solve this one, but let's look at it together. We're going to start with what's given, 60 inches over 1. I want to multiply that by some relationship to inches and feet, and that's 12 inches equals 1 foot. So I know that 1 foot is 12 inches. Our inches cancel, and now we just multiply. 60 times 1 is 60. 1 times 12 is 12, and our units are feet. All right, well, can we divide 60 over 12? Yeah, we can do that. So 60 over 12 reduces to 5. Keep your units of feet. So we get 5 feet. All right, very good. Okay, now let's try to get a little harder. All right, let's try to make it a little tougher for us. We can do it though. All right, so let's convert 63 inches to yards. All right, so right away, it's not looking too good, but we can do it. We're just going to take the same approach. We're going to start with what's given to me, 63 inches. Now I want to multiply that, but here's the tricky part. We don't have a unit relationship that takes me strictly from inches to yards or yards to inches. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to add an extra step in there. What we do have is we can go from inches to feet, feet to yard. All right, remember, we're starting at inches, we need to end up in yards. So let's go. So we know that 1 foot is 12 inches. My inches will cancel. And so right now, I'm in terms of feet, but I need to be in terms of yards. Okay, so we can use the other relationship that tells me that 1 yard is equal to 3 feet. All right, so 1 yard is equal to 3 feet. My feet cancel, and now we're left in yards. Okay, so now let's multiply across. 63 times 1 is just 63 yards. 1 times 12 times 3, well, that's 36. Can we reduce that? Yeah, they both look like they're divisible by 9. 9 into 63 goes 7 times. 9 into 36 goes 4 times. So we get 7 over 4 yards. And if we want to convert that now to a mixed number, then that gives me 1 3/4 yards. So 63 inches is equal to 1 3/4 yards. All right, good. Now it's your turn. So I want you to convert 2 days to seconds. All right, so tell me how many seconds is 2 days equal to? Again, pause the video and give yourself time to work this problem out. All right, guys, so let's see how you did that. I'm going to start with 2 days. But again, I don't have anything that takes me from days directly to seconds, so what we're going to have to do is go from days to hours, then from hours to minutes, and then from minutes to seconds. Okay, so this was a little tougher. All right, so now we know that 1 day is 24 hours. So 24 hours is 1 day. My days cancel. Now we're going to use the fact that 1 hour equals 60 minutes. So 60 minutes is equal to 1 hour. My hours will cancel. Okay, now we're in terms of minute, and now we're going to have to do one more to get in terms of seconds. All right, so we know that 60 seconds is 1 minute. And now my minutes, they cancel each other out. And our unit left over is seconds, and that's exactly where we want it to be. Now we just need to multiply. Everything on the bottom is 1 times 1 times 1 times 1. So there's really nothing to multiply there. We just need to multiply the top numbers. So that's 2 times 24 times 60 times 60. We multiply all that together, and that's going to give me 172,800 seconds. All right, there we go. All right, just grab my calculator just to double check our math, make sure we're good to go. So we have 2 times 24 times 60 times 60. And yeah, we get 172,800 seconds. And that's equal to 2 days. All right, good. Let's try one more problem. So this time we're going to look at a nasty word problem. And I know how all y'all love word problems, so let's go there. All right, so it says a 36-ounce can of coffee is on sale for $14.39. All right, well, we want to find what is the cost per pound. What is the cost per pound? All right, since we're talking about money, we need this to be rounded to the nearest cent. All right, so a 36-ounce can of coffee is on sale for $14.39. What's the cost per pound to the nearest cent? All right, well, right away, we need this 36 ounces to be in terms of pounds. So we need to convert that first. So 36 ounces. All right, with my unit relationship, 16 ounces equals 1 pound. So that's 1 pound equals 16 ounces. My ounces cancel, and I get 36 over 16 pounds. Okay, you can use your calculator if you want to divide this out. When you do, they're going to give you 2.25 pounds. All right, but that's not what we're looking for, okay? That just tells me that 36 ounces of coffee is the same as 2.25 pounds of coffee. Now we need to determine what's the cost per pound. Okay, this is very similar, which is exact, to finding the unit rates from chapter 5. So we're going to take our cost, 1439, we're going to divide that by the amount of pounds of coffee we have, 2.25. All right, once you do that, you get 6.3955555 repeating, and since we're going to round that to the nearest cent, that gives me $6.40. So a 36-ounce can of coffee is on sale for $14.39. So what's the cost per pound to the nearest cent? That's $6.40 per pound of coffee. All right, so now make sure you're reviewing and doing your homework over 7.1. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me and let me know.